Okay, so we've all heard of vibe coding. Today we're going to be doing some vibe Excel or vibe spreadsheeting. So we have these two spreadsheets here. One shows payments made to employees at specific dates of specific amounts and covering a specific reporting date. We have another spreadsheet here which contains the hourly rates of employees. You can see the hourly rates here. Now, we're pretty sure that these workers here match the ones in this spreadsheet, but there is no direct mapping. And we've been asked by our boss to find the highest paid employee who got paid throughout this whole period at least $10,000. So who of the employees who got paid at least $10,000, who is the one who has the highest hourly rate? This is going to be annoying. If we don't know how to code, or we're not some sort of Excel guru, I actually don't know how this is possible, because we're going to have to do some sort of fuzzy matching between this employee column, or maybe between this column and the contract data's worker name. And they don't quite match up, right? There's dots here, there are no dots here. And in addition, we're not even sure if the workers, if they're the same workers at all. So this is going to be like a few hours of pain and suffering for us. But what we have is a secret tool, which is artificial intelligence. What we're going to do is we're going to ask us to create a transform. So we're going to tell the AI, I want to make a new spreadsheet. And all that spreadsheet does is it just maps the workers here to the workers here. And then we're going to work out if those workers actually match up or not. So that'll be a new spreadsheet, and then we can actually look at that spreadsheet and work out if all the workers match up. Okay, so I've finished typing out the command. Make a new spreadsheet which shows all the workers from the contract data matched to all the workers from the payroll. And so as you can see, I'm just using natural language. I'm not using any fancy technical terms. I don't know anything about Excel. I don't know anything about coding or anything like that. And we say that, make sure to use common sense when doing the matching. So if there's an extra bit of punctuation or a typo, we still want to match the workers to be the same. And if there's a worker missing from either one of the contract or the payroll, then we just want to leave that blank. And in the end, we're going to end up with the contract ID and payroll ID. We'll just have two columns, hopefully. So, okay, cool. We've done the prompt. Now let's go payroll.csv as an input file, and we're going to add the other input file, which is the contractdata.csv. And output file, we'll call it matching or match. And we'll call the transform name match as well. And so now we'll submit the task, and the AI is going to create this transform. It's going to be writing code in the back end to make sure the transform is performed very consistently. So even if we have 1,000,000 rows, the transform will still be performed in the same way. And it's also going to be verifying and double checking all of its outputs. So it's going to try some code, run it, check the output, and if it looks reasonable and sensible and matches up with what we wanted, then it'll proceed and confirm that yes, the task is finished, the transform you wanted is correct, and we'll find a new spreadsheet down here. Now, this is going to take a little while. It might take something like 5 minutes, might even be something like 7 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm just going to answer some emails. Oh, okay, hang on, it's completed, it's done. So let's have a look at what happened there. There's a lot of stuff that's gone on. What has it said? Okay, so there's 126 employees. Okay, does that match the contract data? Yeah, okay, 126. Great, because 127 because of the top line. Okay, so it's found all those guys. It's matched 117 out of 120 payroll employees. So it looks like it only found 120 in payroll employees. 3 employees in payroll, but not a valid match. And 6 were only in contact. Okay, so there were 6 that were found that were only in here, and then 3 that were found that were only in the payroll. Okay, that is fair enough. So now I guess we can have a look at the actual spreadsheet that came out of it. So we go to Sheets and reload. And Sheets. Okay, and this is the match file that we've now got here. So payroll ID is 25, and contract ID is, all right. Okay, so what's happened here is it's got the contract ID, right? It's got worker 001, which if you go to the contract data, it's got like, worker 001, I guess that's, well, I don't know who it is. It looks like it matches that. But it hasn't, with the payroll ID, it's been like, oh, it's given us some random ID. What's this number? Does this match anything in the payroll? Like, I don't think it does. I think maybe it's, yeah, like I don't know what that refers to exactly. That's not very human readable. So you might say, oh, that's terrible. We've done a bad job here. We're going to have to, the AI's made a mistake. Well, luckily, the whole point is we expect the AI not to do a perfect job every time. So what we can do is we can do a modification task. And what that'll do is it'll modify the transform we just made so that it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, so we've made a very lazy prompt here. So payroll ID column is not correct. We want it to be the value in the employee column of the payroll data. So we're saying, hey, make it this instead of what it was, instead of a random floating point number. Also make the contract ID the value in the worker name column. So we're asking it to be this instead of the contact ID. Okay, submit the task. Transform name is required. Right, so we have to use an existing transform name, match. Okay, submit the task. So the AI made a mistake. And it made a mistake a little bit because of how we phrased the question in the first place, right? We said, the way we phrased it was like a little bit, it was a bit vague, right? And also because the AI didn't interpret our stuff right. But because of the way this is set up, we can see the output and understand it and ask it to correct itself. And that's the whole point of this workflow. We still don't need to know anything about Excel, but we can also guarantee that the outputs we're getting actually work. Okay, here we go. It's done. So, it says, oh, okay. Right, now before, after, it's what it looks like. We have to reload to actually see these changes. So let's bring it up. Sheets. We'll load the sheets. Okay, match. What does it look like now? Ah, great. Look at that. Payroll ID, Sexton, Wade, Schrellerbach, Schwalson, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then here are the ones that haven't been matched. And it looks like it did end up matching all the other ones. So, okay, 120 have all been matched. And these remaining ones, looks like they're only in the contract data. Now we can actually go ahead and double check that if we want. In fact, I did just before I double checked it. And yes, all of these guys here, they don't actually exist in this payroll data. Okay, great. So that's the first step. Now what we want to do is what do we want to do? We want to find out everyone who makes more than $10,000 overall, and we wanted to work out who gets paid the most out of all of them. So, okay. Let's start a new task. We'll create a new transform. Okay, and again, we've just given it some very basic English commands. Make a new sheet which has the total pay for each worker. Use match.csv, that's one down we just made, to identify the workers. The final columns should be payroll ID, which matches the employee, total pay, and contract ID. And you know what? I'm going to be more explicit. Total pay. Total pay is the sum of all payment amounts from payroll.csv. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Payroll.csv. And we'll also put the input to be match.csv. We don't need contract data at this stage. And we'll call it total. And off we go, submit task. And again, I haven't had to use my brain. I want to emphasize that. I haven't had to use my brain at all during this process. I'm actually focusing on something completely different. But off it goes. And hopefully we'll have a new spreadsheet at the end of this. Oh, shucks. Okay, we're done. So, we'll refresh again. Check out the spreadsheets. Total pay, here we go. So we've got payroll ID, contact ID, total pay. Great. And this is like added up. And if we want, we can do some spot checks of this and make sure that it adds up. For now, I'm just going to trust it, but later we can come do spot checks. And of course, we notice that there are 120 on here, which makes sense because that's one for every unique employee in the payroll. Okay, so now we wanted to work out everyone over 10,000 here who gets paid the least. No, who has the highest hourly rate over the people who get paid more than 10,000. Looks like pretty much everyone gets paid more than 10,000. So you know what? Let's just say everyone who gets paid less than 10,000 who has the highest hourly rate, because that's a bit more spicy. So yeah, we're just gonna ask it for that. We're just gonna do that. Get a new transform. And I don't even think we need to mention the columns because it's kind of obvious, but all we need now is contract data.csv and totalpay.csv. And we'll just call it HighPay. Okay, and submit. And yeah, so it'll just take this into account, and because it has the contact ID, it can use that to match into the contact data. Now, I probably should have called it worker name so that the AI would know that the contract ID actually refers to the worker name. But I actually think the AI is probably smart enough to work that out and sort it out for itself. So we're just going to let it run, and then we'll be done. That'll be it. We'll have our task completed. It's taken about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, but all that time I've just been doing other stuff, that's sort of the main point. Oh. It's done. Okay, cool. So we'll refresh again. We'll go grab the sheet. And total pay, here we go. Okay, so something's clearly gone wrong here because we only wanted the ones that got paid less than 10,000. Maybe I messed up and asked for the ones that got paid more than 10,000. Oh no, we wanted high pay, not total pay. Here we go. Great. So here we have Parman. Got paid nothing. He has the highest hourly rate. Okay, nice. Parman did well. Maybe he was among one of the ones here that didn't match. Yeah, is Parman down here at the end? Nah, he's not. Okay, so he was in payroll somewhere. But high pay. Parman, 54. He's stacked. Parman's doing well. And Mills is next. And then, okay, cool. Great, we're done. Fantastic. Did I have to know code? No. Did I have to know Excel? No. Did I make grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes when I asked the AI stuff? Yes. Did we get the correct answers? You bloody bet we did. So great, we can just export this, give it to our boss, and then, yeah, maybe we can just like take on a few different, yeah, we can do a lot of things at once. Okay, so that's vibe spreadsheeting. It's a lot like vibe coding. I think it's even more fun. And yeah, so just save yourself some time and brain. Give it a shot.